Welcome back. I'm Kim Bailey, he's Jamie Wadley, and this is Inside Exec. We are up to the final question in our conversation with Jim Stevenson, and today we're going to look at how you can begin to implement AI into your organisations and what are the things that you should be doing now.
Question 7. Do we have time for strategic silence?
Yes and no. You can tell where this is going then, can't you? Yes, you have to. There is absolutely no point. Everything that we've answered today is all about understanding, considering, get your ducks in a row before you implement AI. Otherwise, you are causing yourself more problems down the line if you don't. Having said that, your competition's out there using it. The world is using it. Your consumers, your customers expect you to be using it because they want it to be more efficient. They may not want to talk to someone. They just want the answer. So I think it's a case of doing both. Yeah. You need to start implementing something, but you also need to give yourself time to consider what you're implementing. So if you're just starting today, 2 things. Go away and look at all the data you've got, look at where it's held, look at how complete it is, where you've got issues with it, where you've got phone numbers in, the location address and that kind of stuff. Clean up all your data, and that's a good couple of months. If you do that well, unless you've got a very small list, it's a good couple of months to do that. Use that couple of months to decide what you want out of your AI, what processes you've got in place, what processes you're going to have to go away and define or write down that people have been doing. As you go through those processes, think about not just the processes that you have, but the processes that you have that you don't need. Lots of people have meetings or processes about passing information from human to human. You need to pass it from agentic to agentic, but that's a millisecond and it's done. So why have a process running about having a weekly meeting to share and disseminate information if it's specific to those kind of things? So your processes not only tell you where you want to have AI, where you don't want to have AI, where you can have simple automation. Simple automation covers a lot of what people think is AI, and it's not. It's just simple process automation. So I always kind of think about it as process automation, AI, and then the human. In any process, which one is the most appropriate part of that process? And then by doing that, what you're actually doing is you're setting yourself up to implement, get your data ready, set up all your ducks, but you're giving yourself the silence to set yourself up properly to go forward. But once you've done it, I would kind of very purposefully introduce at regular interviews a point whereby I'm just stopping everything and saying, is this still the right thing? It's the old adage. Silicon Valley, when it's set up, all the startups doing agile and lean and Kanban and all these types of processes, they would always go through the product development life cycle. And part of that product life cycle was, do we continue to invest and develop this or do we kill it? I think businesses need to think the same way these days, especially if they're implementing AI. Are we doing this process the right way? Have we got it right? Or do we kill it? There's no point investing more into this. So that strategic silence is important, but it was important before. It's just making it, highlighting the need that you should be doing it, even if you weren't before.
I think the question was geared around the speed at which they feel that they have to take on AI in some form in these organisations, and have they got time to sit back and think about more broadly the organisation. But if they're not looking after the business to start with. So.
Exactly. And do they have time? Yes, they have time. Do they have a lot of time? No, they do not have a lot of time. Your competitors are doing it. And your competitors may be doing it bad. And in 3 years' time, your competitors will be dead because they've implemented it wrong and they've got problems and their operating costs are going through the roof. But if you don't do it, then you're not going to be here in 3 years' time to watch them go get it wrong and fail. So yes, you need to do it. You need to be doing it now. As Kim, you said at the very start, we spoke about this a year ago and how things have moved on. I mentioned that I'm writing a book. Part of the reason I've not finished the book is it seems like every 2 weeks something happens and I need to rewrite the book. It's just going so quickly that you need to be doing something. Even to the point, and this goes against everything that I normally say, you need to start. You just need to start. It is not going to be right. It's not going to be well. If you can buy yourself time to think about it, do that. If you can get all your ducks in a row, it's worth spending a couple of months doing that. just as a foundation of doing everything. But you need to start and you need to build something that is flexible because it's going to change in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Hopefully, giving yourself the couple of months to start with to think about this, you build in simplistically an agentic layer, which means that when Claude pricing goes through the roof or OpenAI pricing goes through the roof, you can swap one LMM out for another one, and suddenly you've mitigated your challenges. But you need to start. There's AI is not. It's not a fad. It's not going to go away next week. It's here. It's here to stay. You need to be part of it. Otherwise, your competitors are going to be there. Your customers are going to expect it, and you're not going to have it, and your customers will move. You've got to start.
These organisations who are bombarded with information now about, we have to take this on, we have to do this, we heard such and such talk, and every conference or every industry event they go to, there's someone else saying this is what has to happen now. How do they choose what's right for them?
The simple answer is they phone me. Probably the most.
That was my lead-in. Good, very good. Yeah. You picked up on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult because there is so much happening, and a lot of the things that you see on social media, which seems to be where everyone is getting their information from these days. If you have a hammer, everything's a nail. That does not work with AI. You need to be more considered. You need to understand that it is not everything's a hammer, everything's a nail. You need to understand where you are as a business before you can get into where you are going with your AI. So actually having someone or having a process that takes you through genuinely where are we? What is your standard operating procedures? What have you written down as your processes? Most businesses have some. Most are out of date. And very often the processes aren't 100% completely there. And that's fine. So maybe what you do is you start with the process-driven parts of your business while someone else is looking at writing down the processes you've got elsewhere. How do you decide? I'm not sure. How I would decide is I would go through and understand my business properly. I would understand what decisions I want AI to be involved in and which ones I don't. So the whole automate AI or human decision through each of those processes. And then I would start to build round about that. I would also prioritize that with which parts of the process can I put AI into that's going to give me the biggest bang for the buck. Where am I going to save the most? Where am I going to reduce the processes the most? Or where am I going to give the customers a better service that I can't at the moment? But by implementing AI, I can. So it's a priority. And to be honest, that's not AI. That's just your business. That's how you should be prioritizing any financial investment.
Yeah, exactly. It should be correct.
And it's really about, now that I've got this extra resource that where I don't have to choose people and train people and the training time alone is going to be so condensed. Where can I put that resource to the best of the business's benefit?
Completely. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, that for me is the kind of sum total of all of this. If you don't understand your business, you're never going to be able to implement AI. But it was always the same with technology 20 years ago. It was technology didn't replace your processes, it just automated them. So yeah, understand your business, understand what you've got, what you don't have, understand where you think AI can make the biggest improvement and focus there.
Jamie, got anything else that you want to ask, add?
Probably 50 things, but I'm just thinking now that my 9 or 10 day work weeks turn into 11 or 12 day work weeks because I have to do everything now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it can be. But I mean, take away the biggest things. You use AI to fix your calendar, chat to customers, set up meetings. I personally don't do that. I'm not confident enough in that myself, but I'm a bit of a micromanager and control freak. But that would take away an hour or two from most people's days.
I don't think I'm that organised, so I need to just take a step back and really have a good look at the business and understand what I'm doing, so I can automate it from little things up. So
in that case, I can highly recommend Grok to you. It will do wonders for your business. So I have to say I'm quite down in Grok, only because it has no parameters, it has no safety controls at all in it. But sometimes yeah, but sometimes I do use it, to be honest. Sometimes those lack of parameters are quite useful. You can kind of go away and make it kind of do things that others don't want to do.
I haven't used it much, but I might have a toe in the water and see how I go. But
I have to, just because I've kind of said it and it makes it sound a bit weird. What I tend to use it for is if I'm working with a potential client and I'm not sure who they are or what they are, then I get Grok to do a bit of due diligence on an individual for me, just so I know. Because other LLMs won't do that because they consider it stalking. But for business due diligence of an individual, I find Grok is actually not bad.
We better get a copy of Grok that we can run on a local server now, then. Because it mightn't be here much longer.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Jim, is there anything else that we haven't covered that you want to address today?
Have we got another few hours? We can go through the whole process.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah. No, I think those questions were really good. I genuinely do, because most companies are not thinking of those types of questions, those challenges. At the moment, I think we're going through the classic phase of it's a technology, we'll give it to the technology guys, they'll implement it and the business will be fine. Mm-hmm. And I think most companies are going to suddenly wake up and realise that actually it's not a technology, it's a business decision, and we need as a business to be leading it. Absolutely. We need to be prioritising it, we need to be making sure we've got the safeguards in place, we've got the regulatory controls in place to make it work. And I think that's like everything in business. It is a business thing that is driven by technology. So, yeah, no, those were fantastic questions. They were all business thinking questions. They were looking after their employees questions, which I liked.
All right. Well, thank you once again for your time today and thinking about those questions for us. You know, after today, when we get flooded with more questions, we'll see you in a year's time.
Yeah. Well, I am launching the Substack, so I'll give you my Substack, and you can put on the notes, and then people can just they can get it straight from the horse's mouth and have even more questions to come back and ask you.
There you go. And
so we'll talk to the Jim Stevenson avatar next time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We'll have the avatars next time. We won't have to worry about the time difference.
I'll be looking forward to a copy of your book. I must admit, it sounds like it would be a good read. So good luck with knowing when to stop.
But that's the challenge at the moment is just knowing when to put the line in the sand.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
Real pleasure.
Awesome. Speak soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good luck.
There we have our quite fascinating answers to the questions that you submitted last time. Jim was our guest on Inside Exec. We do encourage you to submit any more questions you have. He's very keen to come back and to talk to us again and to answer your questions. But for now, I'm Kim Bailey. He's Jamie Wadley. This is Inside Exec and our conversation with Jim Stevenson.